In Landman Season 2 Episode 3, the show dives into one of the deadliest dangers in the oil field, and the episode doesn't exaggerate it at all. The gas responsible for the tragedy is hydrogen sulfide, H2S, something anybody in the industry recognizes instantly. It's that same gas with the unmistakable rotten egg smell, which only shows up when the concentration is low. That's why the MTEX workers were able to pick up on it quickly, giving them just enough time to react and protect themselves. But like Dale explained, the real danger comes from the fact that H2S is heavier than air. It sinks low, hugging the ground, so anyone caught unaware can be overwhelmed before they even realize what's happening. What makes hydrogen sulfide so terrifying is how familiar it already is to real oil workers. OSHA warns that leaks like this can happen anywhere, out in open fields, deep in well sites, or even after acid treatments in rigs and tanks. And once the gas builds up, the smell disappears altogether. At high concentrations, it becomes odorless and lethal, shutting down breathing, damaging organs, knocking people unconscious, and killing in seconds. That's exactly the kind of silent danger we see play out in this episode. Landman also captures how real crews prepare for this. Guys like Dale and Boss carry detectors specifically for H2S because this is a threat they face every single day. And when a leak is detected in the real world, companies rely on ventilation plans, emergency gear, and protective masks, things the show also portrayed accurately. So when the episode calls H2S a constant concern in the oil industry, that's not just storytelling, that's reality. But all of this becomes a nightmare for the characters, especially Tommy and everyone tied to MTEX. This wasn't just a near miss. 4 civilians died, and several MTEX workers barely made it out alive. Dale's comment about improving wrongful death insurance suddenly feels painfully relevant. MTEX is responsible for its equipment, which means they're also the ones legally, and financially, on the hook for the deaths and the injuries. And the timing couldn't be worse. Cammy already discovered that MTEX has no cash in reserve, and the company still has to somehow find $400 million to rebuild that offshore rig. Now they may be facing massive wrongful death settlements, repair costs for the tanker, and everything needed to stop and fix the H2S leak. This disaster is stacking on top of an already collapsing financial situation, and the weight is getting heavier by the minute. On a personal level, the episode also shows just how shaken the crew is. Tommy's stress level spikes again, but the emotional fallout for Dale and Boss is even more intense. They were inches from dying. Boss especially can't stop thinking about his family, and moments like that leave a mark. It wouldn't be surprising if this pushes either one of them to question whether staying at MTEX is even worth it anymore, and losing them would be a major blow to the company, and to the world of Landman. If you watch this episode and have your own thoughts about the leak, the realism of it, or how it's going to reshape the rest of the season, definitely drop a comment. I'd love to hear what you think about where the story goes from here and whether MTEX can even survive what's coming.